Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. What a wild day yesterday was. What a wild day. But yeah, we shall go straight over to those Bitcoin 4-hour charts and see how we are looking on this this fine Thursday morning. Let me just check these volumes real quick. Just check these microphones are on the right ones. Yeah, so as you can see, we had basically our selling climax, a massive, well, it is a massive wick now. Obviously at the time it was a massive move down, but we have basically, we're trading higher than this candle now. So yeah, massive wick to the downside, capitulation, manipulation, whatever you want to call it. This doesn't necessarily have to be sort of a macro low in this uptrend, but this is how they will often look and how they will be if it is to be one, which it is. You would have to say it is more likely that it is, that this is the low. If we actually look in the context, if we just look at it in a weekly, if we kind of look. Yeah, I mean, if you kind of look at some of the moves down that we get, these vicious moves, then yeah, well, to be honest, we're only really looking at this one here, because obviously this then actually turned into an actual bear market. But yeah, as you can see, these wicks to the downside can then often basically catapult us onwards and upwards in much the same way that basically the last one did, as you can see just here. Obviously, all markets were going a bit wild then. Wasn't just crypto, but obviously this is pretty much just a crypto one. But yeah, is this gonna be just a touchdown to these moving averages on the weekly, and then we just continue onwards and upwards in the bull trend? It could very likely be, because if you do kind of look at our last bull market, well, the last bull market that we've got, yeah, the last bull market, but the last one that we've got on this data feed from BitMEX, you can kind of see we didn't really break this moving average, and it kept an upward slope, and we kept on going upwards. Obviously down here, we weren't sloping upwards. We did lose it. There was a bit more indecision going on here. Obviously down here we were sloping down as well. But whilst we are sloping upwards, then in this moving average, this is very basic analysis, guys. Then realistically, you'd expect us to continue upwards. Obviously, if this moving average does roll over and we do even lose it, which obviously it is currently sat at about 30,000. Then yeah, we could then start to see actually us enter a bear market again, as we basically saw here. What we do need to be aware of is that obviously we did the first time we touched this back in 2018, the end of that bull market, we did touch it, we did bounce nicely, and then we came down and tested it again, and you can just see there were a series of lower highs. So that is what we need to be watching out for. If we start to form lower highs, and then as this moving average comes up, we come back down and test it. Obviously we are looking at a weekly, so this will play out over time. Then we will have to be looking at obviously the fact that we will be entering another bear market, with realistically targets pretty much, I would say, anywhere between 10 and 20,000 would be fair game. But that has not happened yet. You could just say this is a bit of a manipulative dump. We didn't get as much as you can kind of see. This is a pretty vicious selling climax. We haven't got a crazy buying climax in this bull run yet. So it would be odd if that was it and we did come down, but it could happen. We just got to watch basically price action closely now. Well, I say now closely over the next few weeks, to see what happens. Do we recover? Do we regain levels? Do we make new highs? Do we get rejected, make clear lower highs, and come back down and test these levels again? It is all to play for. Put it that way. It is all to play for. And one of the main things that would give me confidence that this is going to carry on would be watching the stock markets. Basically, this is the S&P. If this does just keep going upwards, if this basically doesn't crash basically. And then the DXY, if the dollar index, if this keeps coming down as well and doesn't start to make a move to the upside, things are generally looking honky-dory in wider markets, then you would expect this just to be a pullback, bro. And yeah, continue upwards. 40% pullbacks in Bitcoin bull markets are basically the norm. This is obviously higher than that. I think actually from high to low on a wick to wick basis, I believe this was about 55%. Yeah, about 55%. So this is more aggressive, but we are basically, we do have more people involved in crypto. We are at a higher figure, higher number. So I mean, we obviously could have undershot or overshot. I thought we were going to undershoot the 40% pullbacks and maybe putting 30, 35, maybe even 25% pullbacks, but clearly I was being a bit optimistic there, and actually we're going to overshoot and put in wild 55% pullbacks from peak to trough as it stands at the moment. So I mean, to be honest, that is it, because if we do start to come back down, then this is not a pullback and we're in a bear market, and this isn't a pullback in a bull market. So yeah, 55% is apparently the norm in this bull run for pullbacks. Well, it's not the norm, it's just the last one. But anyway, this is just a larger scale, larger time frame. If we do want to look at the 4 hour, the main thing that I would glean from the 4 hour is that this does look very much like basically a capitulation, a selling climax. So basically the price level of the area we're in here, where we dumped from, basically this candle's where this candle is. if we basically stay above there and start to trade upwards, then yeah, then there would be a definite upward bias there, and it would just then depend on obviously, do we make a lower high, or do we just continue onwards and upwards. But so far it's obviously a lot better than it was looking yesterday. We could have just keep dumping low. We could have stayed in the low 30,000s. It could have still been looking awful, but we are getting a nice bounce, and we always knew we were going to get a nice bounce. It was just going to depend on from what level. We already have had a nice bounce from down here, but I mean, yeah, I mean, now we're going to see, do we actually get like a proper move up. What I would be looking for pretty much to restore a lot of confidence back in the market would be to obviously regain this pretty important level of basically 42,000. If we get back above and start trading above 42,000, which in the bigger scheme of things, with how price action is moving at the moment, with how volatile it is extremely likely we get to there anyway. It's just then a case of, do we stay above there, do we get rejected and make a big move back down, or do we actually sustain price action over there? So that is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at for a sustained price action above 42,000. So this is not necessarily typical that get a 4 hour close above, because we're just trading with wild ranges at the moment. So we probably need to see multiple 4 hour closes above here, and then moving actually on upwards towards the next target, which is basically around 46,000. If we do that, then I don't think we are just going to shoot up straight away. I think we are just going to climb that wall of worry. The confidence will start to come back into Bitcoin. The open interest, interestingly, from where we were at the highs to where we are now, is basically we're at like 25 to 30% of the total. So much of the open interest has gone from this market now, basically over 75%. Of the open interest. So that is all that they're all gone. There's that capital is out of this market, on the sidelines doing whatever it wants to do, and so obviously we have got the potential for, if open interest starts to go up with price action going up, that would be this clear as day bull signal that we are basically, people are coming back in the market and buying. If open interest comes up, and then obviously the market starts coming down, then that's obviously people coming in the market and selling and still trying to hit this asset to lower levels. But I like I said, I do think the likelihood is that we will go to the upside. It will be a bit jittery to start off with. We may get some rejections, but as long as obviously we're holding this level, I mean, we could say the low of here, but yeah, holding the 30k, which is the level here. I mean, this is basically that I was saying 30 to 40k region. If we lose this level, we've got to get caught in this range. Otherwise, it's not going to look good, and we've got a good chance of getting caught in this range. So obviously, this is only our first pass, though, and we did wipe out the whole range, and we bounced nicely. But this is kind of what you see in Bitcoin a lot. You have like a projected move, like from this Wyckoff distribution, the actual projected move, and then Bitcoin just decides to hit it in like one day. It's like, well, if that's the target, we'll just do it now. And we just get the big move down quickly, and obviously that then it doesn't look great so far as a momentum perspective. Obviously, with such a big move down, you then think it's going to get follow through because it's a high momentum move, but actually it's just because Bitcoin likes to do wild things, and then just carry on business as usual. Yes, as useful or not you may think that analysis is. I mean, is the old up the staircase and basically down the elevator shaft. But obviously, when you come down the elevator shaft, you just think, well, where is the bottom? Well, we're just going to keep coming down fat, and then it's hard to then see that, well, we're just going to recover and go straight back up now once you do that. But that is my bias. Clearly, it is going to be a case of I'll be a lot more comfortable with this bull trend once we are holding above 42,000, and then obviously clearly getting above 46,000. I think basically we will then almost certainly be going onto new highs once we get to that point. Although obviously it could still be a lower high, but I'll just think after this capitulation move down, the likelihood that is low, and we are continuing on with the bull market if we get above 46,000. But yeah, very interesting times. Markets were obviously very frothy. There was volatility, as you can see, but nothing like the move down. And as you do get low vol, you get more people more comfortable coming into the market. And yeah, I mean, it clearly looks like they were getting distributed into, and then we just got that savage markdown. So now the name of the game probably is for these evil market manipulators to now buy the market up again, and then get people eventually comfortable with Bitcoin maybe in around the 50,000s, comfortable to start basically FOMOing en masse, push us up to all-time highs again, and then they will start distributing into them again, and that will potentially be the pattern of what is to come. So let's have a look at also some. In fact, we will just quickly just check the levels out then. Yeah, so just to be clear then, we do want to be getting above and holding above 42,000. We want to be holding, making sure we're staying above 38,000. I mean, the thing is, though, these levels are really close to price action based on how much price action is moving. So maybe this level here would be a more important one to look at, and we will draw this in because obviously this is where we have got some interest here, as you can see. So this 35,000. If we take out 35,000. And we start closing 4-hour candles below there, then yeah, it won't be looking good, and then we'll be looking at maybe aiming for around 30,000 again, and obviously getting above 42 and holding above 42 would be obviously important for the upside, and then potentially trying to target the $46,000 level. So right, let's go and look at some other things, i.e. the Ethereum Bitcoin pairing got whacked. This is potentially a forward check, a back check, and a pay check. This was a very important macro level, and also was the top of the channel as well. As you can see, a lot of confluence here. So if this is to be a forward check, a back check, and a pay check on this asset, then yeah, I mean, this is the target we've got drawn in. I mean, not spot 114, pretty much. We'll just move this up just so it says 114, not that unlucky number 13. That'll do. Do that. That'll do. We'll leave it there. Oh, what have you done? Let's just, there we go. Stay there. Right, that's all right. It's near enough anyway. So yeah, we got this target here, and yeah, that is literally what we could be looking at here now, for this pairing, providing obviously we do recover from here. Have we got a forward check, a back check, and a pair check? Or if we do lose this horizontal and come back in, then we could realistically be targeting the actual the downside of the channel. We'll just have a quick look at this on the daily so you can see. But I mean, this does look a lot like how a forward check, a back check, and a pay check would play as a back test, basically a back test of this very important horizontal. If we actually look where it comes from, this is if we want to come back, yeah, this is a horizontal area of obviously confluence, you can see here, and this is where our next level's coming from. So yeah, we did break that, and then obviously also quite importantly this upward sloping trend line top of the channel. So for us to break out, back test, and then continue upwards would look very very aesthetically pleasing chart wise. The Ethereum US dollar pairing as well. If we well, you can see we've got this the back is basically coming back. He's back tested the top side of this level that we broke out from. Also, we could potentially extend this. Oh, it's not going to do it. It's not. We don't need to do it, but I was going to extend this trend line along. Kind of see that that's roughly where we got supported at as well. So you could look at this as a random walk with an upward bias. But obviously we've had the pullback towards the mean. Is this also a forward check, a back check, and a paycheck? We shall have to see, but I do concentrate more on basically this pairing, and then just look at what Bitcoin is doing rather than look at the derivative of those two. Bitcoin dominance though, not looking too good here. I mean you can pretty much see we didn't get into this level, but we were coming down to our major levels that we were targeting ever since we were breaking down from here. Like, there's nothing but air here until these levels. We pretty much got down there, and yeah, having a nice pullback. Like I said, are we gonna get a pullback anywhere to, like I said, but I have been saying in previous videos, we could get a pullback to this trend line at some point. Could this keep going? This could do. If Bitcoin does recover and turn around and crypto confidence comes back quickly, then yeah, this may just then continue down. But you kind of have to look at this and then think, have we put in a macro as well, so a medium term low, and we are going to test some more upside. Firstly though, you would expect some sort of a pullback and a higher low to form before we then come higher. So we just got to assess this. But if crypto confidence comes back quick, then yeah, this could just come straight back down back into this level. But probably not the most obvious scenario, because I don't think crypto confidence, in inverted commas, is going to come flying back soon. Obviously now people, new entrants to this market, now know that things like this happen. Things like this happen. 55% pullbacks from the highs, and big moves, basically 25% pullbacks, and on one day. Let me just have a look at the extent of that 4-hour candle. From the high to the low, yeah, over 25%. So you can do 25% move down in one 4-hour candle, and yeah, I mean maybe it was even in the lower time frame candle as well. Maybe it all happened in the 2-hour, but we're not going to go back and check, because we pretty much 4 hours our lowest time frame that we look at. So yeah, all in all, things are in the balance, but I would say skewed towards the upside still, just mainly because of just this big wick, big move down, bought back up. The open interest overall has come right down, so obviously there's that potential, if we do start to move up, to come back in and pump the market up. It's obviously this was a capitulation, and this was a selling climax, so we just got to look to regain the levels, climb the wall of worry, build the confidence. 42,000 is obviously our first level to get above and hold, and then 46,000, and then I think things will definitely start to stabilize at this point, maybe around 46,000, maybe when the Bitcoin dominance starts to then come down a bit. So in this interim time, maybe Maybe people will still be looking to sell alts into Bitcoin. Maybe we're coming back testing on the side of this trend line. We shall have to see. Obviously, Ethereum Satoshi pairing pretty much needs to bounce at the level that it's at, or it's going to start to look pretty bad. But obviously Bitcoin dominance as a whole is the whole market. Ethereum is obviously just Ethereum. It's the whole altcoin market. Ethereum is just Ethereum. Maybe Ethereum has obviously good things coming with ETH 2.0 and being deflationary going forwards and all that cool stuff. Maybe things maybe also other altcoins will start to just pile into Ethereum just on the basis it's the number 2 altcoin, in much the same way that Bitcoin is a more of a safer play. Ethereum is potentially a safer play than a lot of the other altcoins. So we just have to see how it interacts with this level. But all in all, people will still have the jitters for a few days or weeks, assuming we do climb the wall of worry. But if you basically if you basically come back down to 35 and start closing candles down here, it's not going to look very good at all. And I mean, as much as this doesn't look like how Bitcoin market's top, maybe it is a top. All I would also say is that we obviously have come very far very quickly. We were due a severe pullback. And that is basically about as severe as they can come in a bull market. So now it's just a case of, are we still in a bull market? And it's too early to tell. Remember that that weekly close. Got to keep an eye on the weekly close, because this 40, we called it 42, the top side, but yeah, 41,000 is the line in the sand for the bull market that I've been talking about. With how I'm viewing it, but obviously that is on a weekly closure. So if we can close this weekly above this level, here, the one that we've got drawn in here, then we could still be looking bullish and looking pretty good. And obviously don't forget that weekly candle will then have a massive wick and been brought up quite high back up within obviously that candle, within that obviously range of that candle. So that is obviously is a bullish sign for it to be that much buying pressure. So again, that would indicate that, yeah, potentially we can stabilize and continue on upwards. But yeah, it's not an ideal scenario at the moment. Lots of uncertainty, lots of people wiped out. Lots of people have the eyes open to the risks that they are taking, that they maybe weren't aware that they were taking when they were getting involved in crypto, when they just were looking at this nice move upwards. So yeah, interesting times, guys. Let's see how things play out over the next week. Maybe these weekday closes. Obviously it's only Thursday, so today, Friday, 2 more trading days, obviously actual traditional market trading days, then the weekend, and then I think we will maybe get some clarity as to what is going to happen basically around mid next week. So yeah, we've got things are in the balance until then. We've got hopefully we regain these levels. If we don't, we obviously know the levels to be looking at to the downside, the weekly closures to be looking at. So yeah, we'll just have to be playing this in real time. So thanks for listening, guys. Remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I shall speak to you guys soon.